Discovering Alabama is a production of the Alabama Museum of Natural History.
Hey, that's a fresh coon tracks. You smell that old coon? Come on, Turk. Come on, boy. Come on, you lead the way and I'll follow, huh? Come on. This program is about a land unknown to many people, a land that in many ways has escaped the hustle and bustle of modern civilization, a place with bountiful backcountry, forests, streams, and wildlife more diverse than can be found in much of the inhabited world. Come along with me as we explore the natural wonders of this land. Come along as we discover Alabama. Welcome to Discovering Alabama. The nipple fall is in the air and the beautiful autumn colors are filling the woods, and that's brought us to the mountains for this show. Which mountains? Not the Rockies, not the Smokies, but Alabama's own mountains in the Talladega Division of the Talladega National Forest. We're going to hit the trail down here near the southern end of the forest, and we're going to enjoy a nice hike up through the woods. And about halfway we're going to meet some friends, and then we're going to scale the mountains themselves right up to the peak. So come on and join us as we discover Alabama. Our day begins at Lake Chinnabee, a beautiful little lake nestled along a hollow in the south central portion of the forest. The lake is an attractive public recreation area offering good brim and bass fishing and some pleasurable hiking on the nearby Chinnabee Silent Trail. The Chinnabee Trail is our pathway eastward to the mountains, and we get started in the chilly early morning.
I will meet you in the morning by the bright river side, when all sorrow has drifted away. I'll be standing at the portals when the gates open wide, at the close of life's long dreary day. I'll meet you in the morning, with a how do you do, and we'll sit down by the river.
This is known as the Chinnabee Silent Trail. One of the reasons it's called Chinnabee Silent Trail is because of the folks who helped construct the trail back in the mid-70s. From about 1973 to 76, Boy Scout Troop number 29 from the Alabama Institute for the Deaf at Talladega worked long and hard on constructing this trail. It leads out of Lake Chinnabee and proceeds a total distance of over 6 miles all the way up to the mountains, which we'll eventually get to. It's interesting that the trail is called the Silent Trail because not only was it constructed by the children from the Boy Scout Troop 29, but it's also a nice, soft, silent type trail as it winds through some of the prettiest mountain and stream type character in the whole Talladega National Forest. Here's one of the silent, beautiful little creatures along the Chinnabee Silent Trail, right down here, a beautiful fern. Let's see from here. I believe that's a royal fern. It's hard to tell with it all the way across the water, but it sure is pretty. And while we're here by the creek bank, here's another interesting little plant that was used by the pioneers and is still used by some people today. You scratch the root a little bit and you can detect the name of this plant from the color. It's yellow root. And its medicinal uses have been to cure mouth sores, and some people even try it for stomach ulcers by just chewing up the root and the stem and letting the natural properties go to work. Okay. The colors are magnificent. And let's talk about them just a second. This is the red maple. And sometimes you can find 3 or 4 colors on the red maple at this time of the year. We find 3 on this one. And on this tree this time of year, you can get everything from this beautiful yellow to the green and a bright crimson red to go with it. Oh, look at that. You have to really look around to catch the full flavor. Like there's a circle of gold and it's bordered by green. That's a bright gold hickory bordered by red maples that are still green. Waving in the wind. This country was some of the favorite grounds for a number of Indians, primarily Creek Indians, up in this area. There are lots of game up here, deer, turkey, bobcats. Not too many endangered species up here. The New England cottontail is one mammal that folks believe ranges in this type of mountain forest type country, species of special concern. The red-cockaded woodpecker has been seen in these parts, but not too many endangered species. However, this beautiful mountain type country is pretty special in its own right. But it was primarily Creek Indians that lived in this part of the country. Come on, let's go. Come on. Atta boy, come on. The Creek Indians enjoyed the Talladega National Forest area in part because of its variety of forest types. The high ridges are covered chiefly with oak and hickory species, while much of the surrounding high slopes are dominated by various oaks with a substantial pine mixture. Especially appealing are the lower slopes and deep hollows with their rich blend of such species as beech, maple, white oak, and tulip tree. You lead the way. Come on. While we're talking about forest types, I've collected a few leaves because I think sometimes folks maybe don't realize that fall colors don't just all come out at once. They sort of occur in succession. Some of the first trees that change are the black gums, brilliant red, and along the roadside, sumac, brilliant red. Along with those, sometimes the sourwoods turn early. That's a sourwood leaf. And then we already talked about the maples. On a single maple tree, you'll find everything from bright red sometimes to a yellow and a green. Same thing with sweet gums on the same tree, a whole range of color. Those are some of the trees that change first in the fall. Later, a few weeks in the fall, the hickories begin to really come out in their color, and everything from a brilliant yellow to a deep gold. And then later, towards the end of fall, the oaks start really developing their colors. Oak's usually a reddish color, sometimes with some green in it, sometimes some gold in it. Here's one, a red oak with some green and red. But they do change in succession throughout the phase of the autumn period. While we're on the Chinnabee Trail, let's sit down and talk about Chinnabee Silacta. He was an Indian who helped the white man. Back when the white men were trying to chase the Indians out of Alabama, the Creeks rose up against the white man, and a bunch of hostile Creeks had some white folks trapped at Fort Lashley, not far from here. And Chinnabee Silacta was a friendly Indian among the whites, and when they were surrounded in the fort under the cover of darkness, Chinnabee Silacta decided if he would put on a hog's hide and pretend that he was rooting around like a hog out through the darkness, that he could escape past the hostile Creeks, and that's what he did. And when he got past them, he got on a horse and rode for the troops to come in and help out the folks who were trapped at Fort Lashley. And then not long thereafter, of course, Andrew Jackson came in and dealt the Creek Indians a pretty heavy blow at the Battle of Talladega. It's an interesting story, and Chinnabee Silacta is the one who the trail is named after, and he was a friendly Indian to the white man. Chinnabee Silent Trail flows by Cheaha Creek, and the creek is filled with numerous riffles and waterfalls all along its course because it begins at an elevation of about 2,200 feet above sea level and flows all the way down to Lake Chinnabee. This is one of those pretty riffles. We'll see some more. Well, we've been on the trail for a couple of miles and have seen no trace of a mountain yet. Well, we just came around that little ridge, and now for the first time en route we can spot the mountains right over there. And before we end up today, we're going to be on top of them. These mountains of the Talladega National Forest region are one of Alabama's most distinctive features, rising near the town of Talladega and running northeastward across the state. They are believed to comprise the southernmost reaches of the Appalachian chain. Within this range are such unspoiled mountain natural areas as Duggar Mountain, Blue Mountain, and the 5,000-acre Cheaha Wilderness area. Adjacent to the wilderness area is Cheaha State Park, a 2,000-acre park with dining and lodging accommodations and a variety of natural attractions. For example, springtime visitors to the Alice McKenzie Wildflower Garden can enjoy seeing the blooms of an assortment of native rhododendron species, such as the Alabama rhododendron and the flame azalea. Also inside Cheaha Park is the peak of Cheaha Mountain, which at 2,407 feet above sea level is Alabama's highest point. In fact, the name Cheaha is an Indian word meaning high place. Come on, Turk. This is one of the falls along Cheaha Creek that a lot of people consider to be the Cheaha Falls. It's a popular recreation site, popular picnicking area, and below it is a popular swimming hole. One really nice feature about the mountain country up here are all the dirt roads. They just add sort of a rural, wild-type character to the place. This particular dirt road, however, will not be dirt in the very near future. It's going to be paved over as part of a scenic highway. Maybe that's nice for some folks. It'll certainly make access available for a lot of people. But I have to wonder about way in the future what it's going to mean when we pave over so many of our dirt roads, since they do add such a wild and remote flavor to the territory. And to me, personally at least, that's one of the most valuable aspects of this mountain country. In addition to this mountain country just being beautiful physical feature or natural area and good habitat for wildlife, it's also a useful area for educational purposes. Right up the trail a little ways, we're going to join a teacher, Miss Lou Ellen Reardon from the Homewood City School System. A few years back, I was involved in a special project in the Homewood schools where we took some of the teachers and prepared them to do outdoor learning type strategies. Miss Reardon has a group of her first graders with her, and Miss Reardon was nominated for Best Teacher a couple of years ago in the state of Alabama for one of her subjects. So we're going to join them, and then we're going to take a little hike on the Chinnabee Silent Trail up the mountain for a couple of miles. So one educational aspect will be physical fitness. Let's join them.
Now, I'm going to pass around in the circle some things for you to feel. Okay. I want you to tell me how it feels to use one word. And remember, you can't use the same word that anyone else has used. Okay?
Which way are we doing that?
Same way. You get it first. And remember, tell me a word about how it feels. Not what it is, but how it feels.
Who's going to give it to me? Rough.
Good.
Outdoor learning activities can be very effective for teaching almost the whole range of school subjects. Nature is usually exciting to youngsters. Consequently, their motivation is high, and the aspect of direct experiences makes the learning especially meaningful.
Sticky. I mean, look.
Good job.
Sticky, yeah. Pointy.
Good.
Hard.
Good. What was it?
A pine cone.
Okay, we had sticky, we had hard, we had rough, we had pointy.
Okay.
Hey, gang.
Turkey.
Hey, y'all been having a big time?
Yeah.
Hello, Miss Reardon. How you doing?
Fine, how are you?
Fine. Who you got here?
This is Natalie,
Huh?
Jay, Conrad, Brad, Helen, Carly, and Carrie Potts. Stop your
Hi, Carrie. How you doing? Y'all ready to go hike in the woods, huh?
Yeah.
Good. All right. We should have a good time today. It's a beautiful day. Let's go have some fun. Come on. Come on, Turk. Here we go. Come on. Oh, boy. All right. Don't get in too big a hurry. Come on. No, let's go up the hill. Look at the pretty sunlight coming down through the leaves. Are y'all getting tired?
No.
Good. Good. Well, I am. I tell you what, there's a nice little soft spot down in that little hollow for us to take a rest. Right down there in the sun. Come on, let's go down there. In addition to being an effective teaching aid for many academic skills, as we saw earlier with Miss Reardon's activity for building the students' vocabulary, outdoor education is a great way to instill environmental appreciation. An important early step is to develop sensory awareness. Okay, come on down, be careful.
Did we get paid money for this?
Can you see Turkey up there?
Yeah.
How about that? He likes to get up there and hide behind the bushes like that. He thinks he's a deer and he's camouflaged, and sometimes you really can't see him when he gets hidden like that. Especially with all these colors that look just like him, all these browns and golds and everything. Okay, all right, gang, gather around here now. Come on in here close. Come here like a football huddle. Come on in here, come on. Now, let me tell you something. We're going to get in a circle, and then we're going to sit down, okay? We're pretty much in a circle. Miss Reardon can join the circle on that side over there, okay? Let Miss Reardon in. All right, now, let's sit down, okay? There you go. Now, let's put our feet together in the middle of the circle. Ah, very good. Now, think about this. Think about this. It's a fall, and there are fall wildflowers in bloom. And at nighttime, it gets chilly, and the wildflowers close up. And then when the sun comes out, the wildflowers open back up. And that's what we're like, a wildflower, and the sun's out. So we're going to open up. Go ahead and lay back. How about that? Just like petals in a flower. Now look up. Hey, look at the colors. Who can find yellow? Hey, who can find gold? All right, let's see if you can find purple. Do you see purple? Where?
Up there on that big tree.
Okay, there's a purple, it sure is. Who can find, let's take a hard one, who can find gray? There, where's a gray?
Right there.
It sure is. Okay, let's go back to a fall color. Who can find brilliant red? Oh, there are a lot of brilliant reds, huh? There's a lot of pretty colors, almost every color in the color spectrum. Now, I tell you what, looking at all those beautiful colors is almost like listening to a whole bunch of beautiful music, isn't it? Okay, now listen to me. Take your hands and make the frames of a picture. And then move your frame around until you find the prettiest picture you can find up there in all those colors. And see if you can find a picture that has several colors in it. And then focus on that. And then take a snapshot of that picture in your mind and keep it there. And remember it. I'm going to find one too. I'm going to find several. Oh, there's a nice one. There's an interesting one over there. Oh, there's a real pretty one up there.
I just focused mine.
You just focused yours?
Yeah.
What did you focus on? Well, you got a wide lens. Let's close up and get ready for the sun to go down. Okay. Very good. That was a good job. Real good job. Okay. You ready to hike some more?
Yeah!
Okay, let's go.
One of the best things about outdoor education is that a child's initial curiosity for nature can stimulate a deeper intellectual sense of wonder.
Hey, look at that pretty bush by the trail. What is it?
Well, let's take a closer look and see what we can tell about this bush. Look real close. Do you see anything special about it?
It's yellow. Has a few
Yes.
holes in it.
Right. I wonder what did that. Look close at the leaves. Look closely at the leaves. Can you tell me anything about the leaves?
They're different shapes.
They are different shapes. Let's look. Here's one that has one lobe. Can you find one that has two lobes?
Right there.
How many? Take a smell of this. Smell of it. What does it smell like to you?
Lemon.
It smells lemony.
Lemony.
A long time ago, we used to make tea out of this from the root. It's called sassafras tea.
Stay in line with me now. Oh, we're getting to the rougher and the steeper part of the trail. Come on.
Coming up, on the rough side of the mountain. That's all right, you. I must hold to God. Hold on. His powerful hand. Yeah. I'm coming up, Jesus. On the rough side of the mountain. Yes, Lord. I'm doing my best to make it in. You know what, children?
Climbing a mountain can be a big time in a youngster's life. Reaching the mountain top can bring a new perspective on time and on life. Get right up there.
Hello. Oh, I'm just sitting here resting and thinking, looking at the beautiful scenery. Y'all ever seen anything like this before?
No, sir.
You can see for 30, 40 miles here.
I see the letter Y
Where?
down there.
Oh, yeah. That's the way the woods are shaped, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Let's have a seat here. Talk to
You
this
can tell
gentleman.
where the woods have been cut over and
Be real careful.
I can
now.
see.
set out over there.
I want to stand up and look.
I've been coming here almost 60 years now, pretty often. And this is still the same, but it's built the park up, and there's a lot of changes made on that there, but this will remain the same here for years to come, maybe forever. How would y'all like to camp out up here? And it won't be long now till all these leaves will be gone and they'll be bare. I mean, it'll still be a good view, but it won't be as beautiful as it was like in the summer and fall. So we need to enjoy it while we can, while it's here.